Okay, so this is going to be a Blender tutorial. So for most of my models, I'm always going to include a Blender file for you guys to edit and do whatever you want to it, make it your own, etc. Particularly, I'm just going to work on this canine model for now. Most of my models are kind of set up almost the same way. Um, So for those who are completely new to Blender, I'm gonna try to show you guys step by step on how to do certain things, like joining meshes and you know bones, armatures and stuff. And I'm gonna have this keycast here so that you can just follow along and slow down the video if you need to. So yeah, let's get started. So a lot of people, when they first open this Blender file, they're gonna get a little confused on what this is. Um, Essentially, this is all the tails and uh, ears just thrown onto the model so that you can, select what you want and get rid of the other ears or tail you don't want. One thing I do suggest is having a couple of tools. This right here is the cat's plugin tool. This is very useful for just making VRChat models. I've used this ever since I've started making models in VRChat, and it hasn't failed me. Uh, just to get this plugin, you just need to go to Google, type in cats plugin, should be the first one here. You need to download the zip file, which should be right here. And once you have that zip file, you need to go to preferences and go to add-ons. Up here, there's going to be an install. What you do is you can click this, and then you'll basically find the zip file on where you downloaded it. Take the cats plugin, and then it will appear, right here. You'll have to make sure this is check mark so that it, you know, appears on the side toolbar here. And for those who have their toolbars on this side, like by default, this is Blender 2.8. Um, I personally don't like it on this side because it's I don't know, it doesn't feel nice, I guess. I personally like it on this side. The quick way to move it to this side, to the left side, is hover over to your toolbar and hit F5, and it will swap to this side. Okay, so once you have your cats plugin, you can get to work. Let's say I am going to make a Dalmatian, right? Uh, well, one of the things you need to learn is hiding objects. So all the objects here are I've separated for you guys. There's two hairstyles. There's ponytail and hair down. Hit H to hide. And this will be your scene. These boxes, or collection boxes, are basically like uh essentially layers. Where I put all the extra parts. Right here, this is going to be the main folder of the armature. It's going to have all the, the body mesh, the head, and the clothing. So when this is grayed out, it means that it's connected, but it's in a different folder, I guess. So this is hidden right now. This dashed line just means it's connected to this armature. And you have your tail here, tail 3, tail year 2, year 3, year 4. So let's say I want to get just the this ear. I'm not gonna worry about the other ears, so I'm just gonna hit delete this, delete this bottom one. Okay. So this ear is attached in this main folder here. If it's let's say here, I'm just gonna hide the ears for now. Let's say it's attached to the body, like the main body here, right? And there's when you click it, it's going to select the whole head. What you want to do is go to edit mode. So once it's edit mode, you can hit the wireframe, which is the Z. Hit C for the brush selection, so you can select a certain area of vertices. So let's lightly just paint over this ear section here, and then hit Control L. This will select all connected verts. So you have all this, and just hit delete. Delete verts. Yeah. You won't need these bones anymore. So same process. Hit C. Just brush select the bones, and you won't need this. This is the ear base. Make sure you delete that too. Delete. Okay. I'm just gonna bring back the ears and just unhiding it from the scene here. Now to join this, make sure I always go bone first. So select the bone, hit hold shift, and then select the armature. So right click shift, and click the armature, and then hit Control J. Control J just joins. Now the the bone itself, it's not actually connected. It's just part of the armature now. So what you need to do is actually connect this bone and parent it to this bone. So to do that, click this base bone here. Go to the bone options here. You want to go to relations. This is the parent bone. Make sure you find head. Just click that, and then it should be connected to the head now. Okay. Next is just join in the mesh itself to the head. Make sure whatever you select last, um, it will go to the last thing. It's gonna join to the last thing you select. So this yellow outline means this is the first thing I selected, and then this is going to be the last thing I select. So this is orange now. It's going to mean this is going to join into the yellow, right? So hit Control J. So that's part of the armature and the mesh itself. So if you go to, let's say, pose mode, and just hit this, or you can hit the armature, pose mode. You can see it's connected. Stop pose mode. Uh, and that's basically it. Just joining this, and I'm gonna switch out the tails. I'm gonna just delete this. Again, edit mode. Hit the C tool. Let's delete bones. Yes. Let's say I want this short tail, so I'm gonna delete the long tail here. Just delete this. Okay. And same process from with the ear to the head bone. Just select the tail first, and then select the armature last, and then Control J. So it's part of the armature. And then this is the base, so make sure you parent it to the hips. Go to parent, hips, and then hit hips. So it should be connected. And then lastly, the tail to the body. Hit Control J. Now it's part of the armature. If you hit pose mode, and you select this bone and you just move the tail around, it's part of the armature now. Okay. And you're gonna see this. You're gonna be wondering why, like, what is this? Why is it sticking out of the outfit? It's because it's for those who just wants the base itself. But let's say you want the clothes. I have a bun shape at the bottom here. Boobs out. So what that's gonna do, it's gonna squeeze in the boobs underneath the clothes. So just if I put this to 100%, you can see that it is squished underneath. And typically want to save this as a basis. A basis is basically um, what your I guess mesh will look like by default. So by default, if I select the base here, the base body, this basis is basically how it's going to look. And all these shape keys or blend shapes are going to affect how it looks. So let's say in Unity you can, change the look itself, but it won't be baked into the basis basically. So let's say I want to have the clothing for this model. I want to, have the boobs squished in. To do that, make sure you select what you have here. This little arrow will have a menu. Click apply selected shape key to basis. It's gonna basically bake in, or basically have that shape key as the basis, as the new basis. So you're gonna have this boobs out reverted. It's gonna basically revert to how it was before. So this is the old basis, and this will be the new basis. I typically just try to backspace that, just have boobs out, and I kind of like to have it at the bottom. So I just move to bottom, and it should be, if I reset back to 0, so the basis itself should be like this. It's going to be permanently like this. Okay, I'm just going to unhide the clothing. Next, let's say I want to do the hair. Let's say I don't want the ponytail. I want something more casual. Hair's down. I'm just going to delete this hair. Delete the bone. Hitting the edit mode, C key. Select bones you don't need, and then hit delete. And make sure you don't delete the hair root. This is what all my hairs are going to be, I guess, connected to or parented to. And then hit Control, bit of a head, Control Join, Control J. Okay, so out of all these folders, you could probably just delete them. Hit delete. Now you just have the main folder to work with. Uh, Typically, I would like to have the hoodie be able to toggle on and off. So I'm going to keep this separate, so I'm going to hide this. So now I'm going to have the this. I'm going to join it as one mesh. So to do that, just hit A. It's going to select everything, and then just shift select the body, the main body, and then just Control J. That's going to join everything into one body. Oh, and if you're confused on why it's not moving, it's because I set it so it doesn't move. It's locked here. You can just, unlock it so you can move it around. I keep it locked just in case because sometimes you accidentally move it by accident, like a little bit, and then it's off the center, and it's gonna really screw up how you import or export into Unity. So I always keep this locked so that I don't accidentally move the armature. All right, so once this is one mesh, make sure you name it just body. Don't name it anything else. Okay, and then you can unhide this. And you can basically just test out the model itself. So I'm just going to get the cats, start pose mode. I'm just going to test the ears, the hair, tail. So everything looks fine. At this point, you can just export. Again, make sure this is body. There's two ways of exporting. You can export the manual way. Uh, the manual way is just files, export as FBX. But I mainly just export with this because it basically adjusts the settings for the FBX settings, and it'll automatically set the optimal you know export settings to Unity. Just hit export. Uh, if you export the manual way, what happens is it's gonna look uh like everything's shrunk, like everything's um I don't know how to explain it. It just screws up the mesh itself. So best way to just stick to one export method. So normally since this is an edit and you typically don't want to save over or export over overwrite the original. Let's make a new one. I'm just gonna call this retriever. And let's say you did some texture I guess texture edit. I'm just gonna hit cancel for now. I'm gonna change the texture itself. So just gonna find the texture retriever. Okay. Tail, fluff, and finally the head. And let's do the hair. Why not? Screen color. All right. So here's my edit. I'm just checking outfit. I'll just leave it as default. All right. So this should be ready to export. Continue to export. I'm just gonna export to the same FBX folder. Call this retriever, so it's a completely new FBX. Make sure when you export, you're gonna have this to copy. So what this does is, it's gonna copy everything you did, like all the textures and all your materials into. It's gonna port over with your FBX. So when you unpack everything, you can have all your textures already there. And make sure this is also highlighted. This is blue. Just hit export. And also make sure you save. Don't overwrite, just save into a new one. Okay. This is my Unity. It's just exporting the FBX for now. While that exports, I'm gonna show you guys a really awesome tool that can help you speed up, um, putting in dynamic bones quicker from one model to another, so that you don't have to manually just copy paste, copy paste. Here, it's gonna be pumpkin tool. Here, chat. This tool here, it's gonna basically help you with a lot of things. It's gonna help copy essentially everything from one existing avatar in Unity to another as best as it can. Make sure that the bones are somewhat similar in name, otherwise the tool gets confused and won't be able to transfer dynamic bones or whatever components you have. Just hit this, download latest Unity package, and then just simply drag into your folder here. Okay, so my FBX should be in here. Yeah, right here. Right now, it doesn't look exactly what it should look like, so don't worry about that. You want to basically set your FBX first. I essentially export, I have the copy of the textures here. So just hit extract texture, go over to texture. I'm just going to make a new texture. I'm just going to call it retriever, and then export and unpackage all my texture into that folder. Give it a moment. Okay, and then extract the materials. I'm gonna put it in the material folder. Oops. Make a new folder. All right. So your folder should have all the materials. Retriever should have all your materials here. And right now it's set to by default standard shader. I'm just gonna set this to white because make sure everything's the same color. Go to here. You can select whatever shader you have if you don't want to use Pyomi. I'm just gonna hit opaque. Now, majority of this are going to be uh, they're going to need transparency. N- the only thing that needs transparency, I believe, is this one, transparent eyes. This has the blush as well because previously my old models I had it separate, but I think it's better to have it included into just one material. It's more optimized. Uh, so go to Pyomi, select transparent. Should be transparent. Now, I have when I painted this layer for the eye transparency. Um, it might cover a little bit too much, but you can always go to the make sure you go to advanced, the alpha option. You can basically adjust how much transparency you have if you don't want too much of a reflection on the eyes. You can just tone it down just a bit. Just around here should be good. Okay. Oh, one thing to also make sure the clothing are also one. I guess they're only facing one layer. They're always rendering a certain side. So let me pull in the model. FBX retriever. Just gonna move her to the side. As you can see, it's only rendering one side. In order to fix that, you need to go back to the material, hoodie. So in Pyomi, the rendering options at the very bottom, there's the call. Make sure you set this to off, so that way it's gonna render both sides. And also the outfit, because it's invisible on the inside. Render option off. Yeah, perfect. And also the hair. The hair is also part of it's one-sided. There you go. So her hair looks more has more volume. Okay. So, now you can also use an existing model. Uh, this wolf has all the dynamic bones. Mm, and I guess the manual way, if you most people do, is they just copy, you know, dynamic scripts from one model to the other. With the pumpkin tool, let's quickly download this. Okay, pumpkin tool. Import. All right, so you should have the pumpkin tool add-on. Should be at the top here. Avatar tools, and it should bring you a whole tool set here. I'm just gonna put it here next to my inspector tab, and then I can switch in between. Okay. So to use this, make sure your avatars are roughly the same. So her height is a little taller. I'm gonna basically shorten her a little bit. So her scale is at 0.95. I'm just gonna copy this and just paste it into here. So they're roughly the same height. Now you can also go to pumpkin tools. Uh, this is going to be the avatar that you want to work on. So let's say I want to bring over the dynamic bones and then any script that this has and onto this one. Okay. And if you scroll down to copy components, you want to copy components from this one. It's going to copy avatar descriptor, dynamic bones, colliders, and anything else. Just hit copy. Now she should have all the dynamic bones, all the settings, all the colliders from the fingers onto the this model. So literally just a press of a button should be all done for you. The tail doesn't seem to have any dynamic bones. It's because the bones probably is named differently. Just quick, easy to fix that. Just I'm just gonna move her tail down a little bit. Again, this part is, I guess you have to do it manually. Just go to tail base, copy component, tail base, paste component as new, and make sure to grab the. I always grab the third bone, so that this bone is the one that moves. You can also put it on the second bone, but it just I think it looks nicer on the third bone. So you should see the colliders or the dynamic bones. They're all set. The radius might be a bit too big, so you can adjust the radius here. Well, let's try 3. 3 looks good. All right, and for the ears, my models don't have the ear colliders, but if you want to add it in yourself, go to the dog ears, open this, uh, hold control and just select those two. In the colliders, you can select what colliders you want it to interact with. So it should be colliders in the fingers. In total, I have 3 on each hand, so in total 6. So I'm just gonna put 6. Go to the hand bones. I put my colliders on left wrist. and index and middle finger. As you can see, it's going to be the wrist collider. It's going to be basically the palm of your hand, your middle finger, and your index finger. So just select and drag onto the element here. So this is going to interact with your ears. Make sure you do it for the other hand. Drag this in here. Alright, so your ear should have all these. And now it should interact with you when you touch your ears. Make sure you also check over your avatar descriptor. This right here you can check, or you can adjust how much the eye moves. So excited means, I believe, just how much or how frequent your eye moves. Shy to confident, I think it's just how much you look at someone. So if you're confident, you're gonna stare at them mostly. Shy, you're gonna look away from them. Let's see. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is you gotta set up your rigging to humanoid. So my FBX should be in here. This one rigging should be to it needs to be set to humanoid, not generic. So apply, let that do its thing. Okay, and then hit configure. Okay, so also one thing to note is you're gonna see this error. This the spine's gonna be red. Spine bone length is of 0. You can safely ignore that because the way I set up my avatars, they have the full body fixes. So what the full body fix is in VRChat, from what I've tested, without this, it's gonna have a weird hip displacement. So in Unity, you can just ignore that. Also, go back into the head. Once you go into the head, you want to delete the jaw. Otherwise, your jaw is gonna be stuck open, and you don't really need the jaw since you already have blend shapes and visemes to make your mouth move when you talk. Once you have that, you can just hit done, apply, and I think that's it. Alright, so just hit upload with your model, base retriever. Uh, every um, every new FBX, it's gonna give you this error. Just hit autofix, and it'll just simply fix that. Also, sometimes the avatar itself will have a seam down the middle. It's just how the UV is. But Unity has it generates a mid-map, which is, it basically makes it low resolution when you're far away from someone. But let's say you don't want that and you want it to, look clean as possible. So to fix that, you can go to texture, go to whatever your texture is. So just select uh, textures that you don't want that seam to show. Mainly, I just use it for the body itself. So generate bitmaps, you want to uncheck that and then apply. Now it's a little less optimized, but again, if you want that high resolution for like, you know, just personal taste. Uh, can't think of anything else I could do for this model. I think it should be good to upload. Just gonna hit upload. Oh, and one other thing. Let's say you want to really optimize this avatar. Uh, Cat's plugin has a awesome tool to basically combine all your textures into one material, so one texture image. This is the Atlas option here. Just generate the list. So the list will have the body, the mesh has, let's see, all these materials. To save on like materials, to be more optimized in VRChat or whatever social platforms, just make sure you check mark all these, what you want to combine basically. Oh, and don't combine the transparency eyes because you want these to be opaque, right? And let's see, trying to remember. Oh, right, it's the material combiner. Cats will also have this included, material combiner. This also kind of just keeps it in one place. Uh, this here, you want to change the properties because quadratic basically squishes it all into one image layout. It's gonna not be the most optimal use of space. It's gonna have like a lot of blank areas, which is gonna bring down your resolution by a lot. So what you want to do is set this to either automatic or you can just customize it if you want. But I just usually set it to automatic. So what that does is it's going to basically put all your image in the and most optimal use of space, I guess, to be more efficient. Just hit save to Atlas, and then it's going to save a copy of all the Atlas that you have onto one image, and then you can hit export, and now you have only one material. All right, this should be done exporting. I'm just gonna move my camera closer to my face. Hit upload, and make sure this is on private. And yeah, that's basically how you edit a ghostly base to export into Unity. Alright, it should be done. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave some comments below. Uh, it's best to contact me through Discord. More active on there. And yeah, and you guys have a lovely day. Thank you for watching.